Picture a dimly lit table with a deck of ornate cards spread out. Each card bears a vivid image: a carefree fool stepping off a cliff, a mysterious high priestess on her throne, a skeletal figure of death riding a horse. These are tarot cards, an ancient card game turned mystical practice that has enchanted people for centuries. Today, tarot seems to be everywhere, from TV shows and fashion to countless posts on social media. What is it about this deck of 78 cards that captivates both curious newcomers and dedicated enthusiasts alike? In this video, we'll explore the rich history of tarot, the depth of its symbolism, and its modern-day renaissance. By the end, you'll see how tarot evolved from a Renaissance parlor game into a 21st century tool for storytelling, self-reflection, and a bit of everyday magic. Origins and evolution of tarot. Our journey begins in the royal courts of 15th century Italy. Around the 1440s, nobles in cities like Milan and Florence amused themselves with a new card game called tarocchi. These early tarot decks were much like regular playing cards of the time: faucets, traditionally cups, swords, batons or wands, and coins, each numbered 1 through 10, plus court cards like kings and queens. But tarot had something extra: a special series of 21 picture cards called trionfi, trumps, and a wild card known as the Fool. Instead of hearts and spades, the Italian suits featured goblets, swords, clubs, and coins, and the trump cards portrayed allegorical figures from jesters and emperors to virtues and cosmic forces. Originally, tarot was just a clever trick-taking card game, and these vivid trump images added an exciting twist to the gameplay. As the decades passed, tarot cards spread across Europe. French soldiers in the 1500s, for example, brought the cards home from Italy, and soon the game caught on elsewhere. In France, the design standardized into what we now call the Tarot de Marseille, a 78-card deck with 56 minor cards and 22 major trumps, including the Fool, that would become the template for future tarot decks. For a few hundred years, tarot remained primarily a parlor game. There was nothing inherently mystical about the cards in those days. The symbolic images on the trumps, like the Emperor, the Wheel of Fortune, or the Moon, reflected Renaissance ideals and social archetypes, but people were playing with them for fun, not divination. In fact, the notion of using tarot for fortune-telling didn't arise until much later. Now fast forward to the late 18th century. Europe is buzzing with occult philosophy and the study of ancient symbols. It's during this time that tarot takes a mystical turn. In 1781, a French scholar named Antoine Court de Gebelin looked at the tarot and boldly proclaimed it was not just a card game but the remnants of an ancient Egyptian book of wisdom in disguise. This idea captured the imaginations of occultists. Shortly after, Jean-Baptiste Alliot, better known as Taylor, his name reversed, published the first tarot deck designed explicitly for divination rather than play. He filled it with Egyptian-inspired imagery and fortune-telling meanings, banking on de Gebelin's theory, even though we now know those Egyptian origins were fictional. From this point on, tarot's identity split. It was no longer just a card game, it had become a tool for the occult and introspection. By the 19th century, tarot cards were firmly linked to mysticism and the esoteric tradition. Influential occultists like Eliphas Levi in France and later members of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn in England, which included famous figures like poet W.B. Yeats and occultist Aleister Crowley, further reinterpreted the tarot. They connected the tarot's 22 trumps to everything from Kabbalah's tree of life to alchemical processes, seeing the deck as a map of the universe's spiritual structure. This era transformed tarot from a game of trick-taking into a book of secrets in the eyes of mystics, a compendium of symbols representing universal archetypes and hidden knowledge. In the early 20th century, tarot took another leap, his time in art and accessibility. In 1909, British mystica Await and artist Pamela Colman Smith, members of the Golden Dawn, published a new tarot deck that would become the most iconic of all. This Rider-Waite-Smith deck, RWS for short, was revolutionary because Smith filled every card with rich symbolism and scene imagery, including the 56 minor arcana cards. For example, instead of just 5 of cups with 5 chalice symbols, she drew a cloaked figure lamenting spilled cups, a vivid picture telling a story of regret and hope. The RWS deck's colorful, storybook-like illustrations made tarot far more approachable to the general public. It quickly became the template for most modern tarot decks, and if you imagine a tarot card in your head, chances are you're picturing something from the Rider-Waite-Smith images. It's worth noting that even while mystics embraced tarot, people never stopped using tarot as a game. In parts of Europe, like France and Italy, tarot decks, with variations, are still used to play traditional card games to this day, completely separate from fortune-telling. This dual life of tarot, as both a game and a spiritual tool, is part of what makes its history so intriguing. Over nearly 6 centuries, tarot has continually reinvented itself, traveling from Renaissance courts to occult salons to modern living rooms, all the while keeping its core structure intact. As one historian remarked, the game of tarot endured for about 600 years, evolving with each era, a testament to the deck's power and adaptability. The language of tarot symbols and stories. What exactly do we find in a tarot deck, and why do these cards feel so meaningful? A standard tarot deck has 78 cards. Of these, 22 are the special trump cards known as the major arcana. Think of these as the heavyweight symbols of the deck, titles like the Fool, the Lovers, Death, the Sun, the World, etc. The remaining 56 cards are the minor arcana, which resemble regular playing cards but with unique suits and symbolism: wands, cups, swords, and pentacles, or coins. Each suit has cards numbered ace, 1 through 10, plus for court cards, page, knight, queen, king. The minor arcana tend to deal with everyday matters and personalities, while the major arcana depict larger archetypes and life themes. Every tarot card, major or minor, is like a page in a picture book, full of symbols that tell a story. For example, the Fool, usually numbered 0, is often shown as a young traveler at the edge of a cliff, a small dog nipping at his heels, and a sack of possession slung over his shoulder. The sun shines above him as he blissfully steps toward the precipice. This imagery immediately sparks questions: is he naive or optimistic? Beginning an adventure or blindly walking into danger? In tarot readings, the Fool represents new beginnings, leaps of faith, and a sense of wonder, the start of a journey. Contrast that with the card of Death, number 13 in the majors. It typically shows a skeletal rider on a horse, carrying a black banner, while figures bow or fall, yet in the background, a sun rises. The dramatic image might look scary, but readers understand it as symbolizing transformation and rebirth. Something ending, death is making way for something new, the sun on the horizon. In fact, one of the first lessons tarot newcomers learn is that the death card usually isn't about literal death at all, it's about closure and change, often positive in the long run. The tarot is essentially a symbolic language. Each card is like a word or sentence, and when you lay several cards out in a reading, they form a narrative or message. Experienced readers learn to speak this visual language fluently, but even beginners can intuitively sense stories in the cards. This is possible because tarot images draw on universal archetypes. The wise old man with a lantern, the hermit, the nurturing mother figure, the empress, the stern authority, the emperor, the mysterious psychic, the high priestess. These characters resonate with us because we've seen them in myths, movies, literature, and indeed in our own lives. Psychologists note that such archetypal images tap into our collective unconscious, a deep well of shared human experience and symbolism. The famous psychoanalyst Carl Jung, for instance, never wrote directly about tarot, but he believed that symbols and archetypes, like those found in tarot, are expressions of universal human patterns. In other words, the tarot's characters and motifs are so powerful because, at some level, they reflect parts of all of us: the child, the hero, the lover, the shadow, the sage. One way tarot enthusiasts illustrate this idea is through the Fool's Journey. This is a story that ties all 22 major arcana cards together in sequence. Imagine the Fool as the protagonist of a grand adventure. At the start of the journey, he is 0, fresh, curious, and oblivious. Soon he meets the magician, Card Eye, who shows him the tools of life and willpower. Then the High Priestess, 2, who teaches him intuition and the secrets of the subconscious. The Empress, 3, offers love and abundance. The Emperor, for structure and authority. The Hierophant, V, introduces tradition and knowledge. The Lovers, 6, brings choices of the heart, and so on through each card. He faces challenges like death, 13, an ending that teaches him to let go and transform, and moments of revelation like the Tower, 16, sudden change that shatters old illusions. By the time the Fool reaches Judgment, XX, and the World, XXI, he has been reborn and attained a sense of fulfillment or enlightenment. In essence, the Fool's journey is a metaphor for the human life cycle and the path of personal growth, from innocence, through trials and lessons, to completion. It's remarkable that a simple deck of cards can encode such a rich narrative. This illustrates how tarot is not just random images, it's an interconnected system of meanings. Thanks to this symbolic richness, tarot cards are also wonderful tools for creative storytelling. You don't have to be a fortune teller to use tarot. Some people use the cards to spin tales or even write novels. A great example comes from the Italian writer Italo Calvino. In one book, The Castle of Crossed Destinies, he imagines a group of travelers who have lost the ability to speak, so they communicate by laying down tarot cards to tell their stories. As the cards are revealed, narratives unfold and intertwine. Calvino himself was fascinated by tarot's potential, calling the tarot deck the machine for constructing stories. This imaginative use shows that beyond spiritual or psychological insight, tarot can simply be a framework to unleash creativity. You can try this yourself, draw a few random cards and see if you can weave them into a tale. The rich imagery practically begs you to fill in the details with your imagination. Tarot's symbolic language makes it a powerful mirror. Sometimes just looking at a particular card can stir feelings and thoughts that give you insight into a situation. For example, you might draw the Two of Swords, a figure blindfolded, holding two crossed swords, and suddenly realize you've been avoiding a tough choice in life. Or you see the Ten of Wands, a person struggling while carrying a heavy bundle of sticks, and it hits you that you're overburdened and need to ask for help. The cards can validate what you already know deep down, or bring up new ideas you hadn't considered. Importantly, there's no magic required. You don't have to believe any supernatural force is moving the cards. The magic, many would say, is in the meaning-making process. You assign meaning to the random draw, and in doing so, often discover that the meaning was inside you all along, waiting to be noticed. That's why even therapists and writers sometimes use tarot cards as prompts, purely for brainstorming or reflection. It's like a Rorschach inkblot test, but with archetypes and centuries of art behind it. To sum up this part, the depth of tarot comes from its symbols and stories. Each card is a tiny work of art that can speak volumes. Whether used for introspection, spiritual guidance, or sheer storytelling fun, the cards invite us to engage our imagination and intuition. They don't tell us what to do, rather, they spark ideas and insights, helping us tell our own stories more clearly. As you learn the tarot's language, or even if you just appreciate the pictures, you become part of a long tradition of finding meaning through symbols. And as we'll see next, that tradition is very much alive and evolving in the modern world. Tarot in the modern world. Tarot has come a long way from secret societies and dusty old books. In recent years, ethos exploded in popularity and entered the mainstream like never before. In fact, tarot is having a modern renaissance. One museum director noted, "Everyone knows that tarot is everywhere right now, and it's true. You can find tarot in TV shows, music videos, fashion, and especially all over social media." On TikTok and Instagram, tarot card aesthetics and readings have become incredibly popular, attracting a huge following among millennials and Gen Z. The vibrant visuals of tarot are perfect for the internet age. Just check the #tarot or #tarotalk hashtags. They collectively have tens of billions of views on TikTok 8, showing how a once niche practice has turned into a viral phenomenon. It's not unusual now to see a 60-second video where a creator pulls a card of the day for the collective, or gives a quick relationship reading, set to trendy music. Tarot's visual appeal, those intriguing images, makes people stop scrolling and watch, even if just out of curiosity. Why this surge of interest? For one, our era has seen a growing openness toward alternative spirituality and self-help tools. Tarot offers a mix of both. It's mystical, yet also very personal and introspective. Many people today embrace tarot as a form of self-care or therapy-adjacent practice rather than a crystal ball for predicting fate. As one article put it, tarot is a popular tool for self-reflection and introspection, not unlike therapy. Especially during uncertain times, say, a global pandemic, people have turned to tarot for comfort and guidance. In the isolation of COVID-19 lockdowns, online tarot readings and Zoom tarot meetups boomed. A tarot session can feel like a gentle therapy session. You explore your feelings through the cards. For those who find it hard to open up, tarot provides a focal point. It's like a conversation with your soul, as reader L'Oreal Simunovich describes it. You talk about the images and what they might mean for you, and in doing so you indirectly talk about yourself. Another reason for tarot's broad appeal today is that it's flexible and user-driven. Modern tarot practitioners often emphasize empowerment over fatalism. Rather than saying, "This card seals your fate," a reader might say, "These cards suggest some things to consider on your path." This approach shifts tarot from fortune-telling to a form of coaching or insight. It aligns with contemporary values, personal growth, mental health, and empowerment. As a result, tarot shed a lot of its spooky or occult reputation and became friendlier to a wider audience. Even skeptics can appreciate it as a tool for reflection. You don't have to believe in spirits or destiny to shuffle a tarot deck and contemplate the cards you get. In essence, tarot has been rebranded for modern use. It can be spiritual if you want, or it can be simply thought-provoking and fun. This shift from fortune-telling to self-empowerment has made tarot much more relatable to everyday people. Let's talk about the sheer variety of tarot in the modern era. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different tarot decks available now. Remember, the tarot is an open system of 78 cards. Anyone can create a deck with their own art and themes, as long as they roughly include the familiar structure. And people have run wild with this creative freedom. There are tarot decks based on famous movies, tarot decks with cats, tarot decks featuring LGBTQ+ themes, decks inspired by world mythologies, science fiction, video games, you name it. Tarot has also become an art form in itself. Indie artists design gorgeous decks and fund them on Kickstarter, and collectors treat these decks like limited edition art prints. Because a tarot deck is basically 78 little paintings in a box, owning a deck is like holding a miniature art gallery in your hands. It's also very accessible art. As one scholar pointed out, tarot cards are a small, handheld, rectangular object that pretty much anyone can make or buy, quite different from high-end art in galleries. You can find a deck that speaks to your personal style or interests, which makes tarot even more inviting to newcomers. Love space and technology? There's a sci-fi tarot. Into medieval history? Plenty of historical reproductions. Prefer a more minimalist, contemporary look? Those exist too. This vast range of decks means tarot can resonate with people from all cultures and walks of life. In Japan, for example, you might find tarot decks influenced by manga art. In Thailand, as one researcher notes, tarot readers incorporate local spiritual concepts and treat it casually, saying they play tarot much like they'd play Facebook, using it as positive entertainment. Tarot truly went global. Pop culture has definitely helped normalize tarot. We see celebrities openly talking about pulling tarot cards. Pop icon Lizzo has mentioned her tarot practice, and artists like Harry Styles and Florence Pugh have been spotted with tarot decks or referencing them. Tarot cameos in films and TV, whether it's a dramatic reading scene in a thriller or a quirky character trait in a sitcom, also signal that tarot is chic and intriguing rather than taboo. The more people see tarot in a relatable context, the more they think, "Hey, that's interesting, maybe I'll try it." In recent years, tarot has shown up in everything from the chilling adventures of Sabrina, with its occult themes, to a storyline in The White Lotus, where a character gets an ominous reading. Far from being portrayed only as a joke or satanic ritual, like in decades past, tarot is often shown as a tool for insight or a fun party trick. This pop culture embrace has made tarot feel normal and even trendy to the average person. Importantly, technology made tarot far more accessible. You no longer need to visit a mysterious fortune teller in a neon-lit shop. You can download a tarot app or hop on YouTube. There are countless tarot apps that let you shuffle and draw cards digitally, often with interpretations at your fingertips. On YouTube, a whole genre of pick-a-card tarot readings has flourished, where viewers choose a card or pile from a video and then watch a detailed reading. Some of these YouTube tarot readers have huge followings, basically pioneering a new kind of interactive tarot experience. And because online tarot readings can reach anyone, millions who might never have tried tarot before are getting exposure to it. It's common to see live-stream tarot readings on platforms like Instagram Live, where viewers ask questions in real time. All of this means tarot has stepped out of the shadows and into the everyday digital social space. Getting a tarot reading is as easy as sending a text or clicking a video. During the pandemic, virtual tarot sessions even became a popular social activity. Friends would gather on Zoom and take turns pulling cards, like a spiritual spin on game night. And tarot isn't just personal now, it's also being used in community and creative projects. For instance, artists have used tarot formats to comment on social issues. In 2020, during the pandemic, an artist created a lockdown tarot deck that cleverly turned politicians and public figures into tarot cards. Imagine a government leader depicted as a stern emperor, for example. Another contemporary artist, Suzanne Treister, made a deck called Hexen 2.0 that reinterprets tarot cards to explore modern topics like surveillance and technology. These are like art installations in tarot form, showing that the tarot framework can be applied to just about any narrative or commentary. There are also community tarot projects, such as one in England where a special tarot deck was created to help townspeople discuss their city's future, using the cards as prompts for conversation. How fascinating is that? Tarot began as a social game, became a personal mystical tool, and now can even be a participatory art and dialogue experience. It's as if tarot has come full circle to being a serious game, a fun activity that also carries meaning, helping people make sense of a complex world. Whether you're pulling a card for yourself in the morning for guidance, watching a tarot TikTok in the afternoon for entertainment, or attending a tarot-themed gathering with friends at night, the key is engagement. Tarot in the modern world invites interaction. It's not passive. You shuffle, you choose, you interpret along with the reader. It sparks self-reflection and conversation. And because of that, tarot has built communities. There are huge online forums and social media groups where people share their readings, ask for help interpreting cards, and bond over this interest. What was once esoteric knowledge guarded by a few has become a shared hobby and passion for many. To sum up, tarot today is alive and well, arguably more popular than ever in its history. It has transcended its origins and shed a lot of stigma. You'll find tarot cards on the coffee tables of skeptics, spiritual seekers, artists, techies, therapists, a truly wide audience. Some use it for daily affirmations, some for decision-making, some for artistic inspiration, and some just because the cards are beautiful and fun to collect. There's no right or wrong way. The common thread is that people find meaning, comfort, and connection through tarot. In a world that can feel overwhelming, drawing a simple card and pondering its message is a mindful ritual that many find grounding. It's quite amazing that a 15th century game has evolved into a modern touchstone for mindfulness and creativity, but here we are, shuffling the deck in the digital age. Conclusion. Tarot's enduring appeal might come down to this: it's a mirror and a window. A mirror, because when we look at the cards we often see our own reflections, our hopes, fears, and dreams projected in symbolic form. And a window, because those symbols open into a world of story and wonder, connecting us to a rich history of human imagination. Over the centuries, tarot has worn many hats: a family game, a mystical key to the universe, a psychological toolkit, an artistic muse. It has survived and thrived by constantly reinventing itself to fit the needs and curiosities of each new generation. Yet, at its core, the tarot remains 78 pieces of cardboard with pictures, inherently empty of meaning until someone engages with them. The real magic is in that engagement, the meanings we draw out. For some, tarot is sacred, for others, it's playful. For many, it's simply a trusted friend for thinking things through. There's a saying among tarot readers, the cards don't lie, but they don't tell the full story either, you do. The tarot lays out a spread of possibilities, and in connecting them, you often connect the dots in your own life. This interactive dance between chance and interpretation is why tarot never gets old. Each shuffle is a new story waiting to be told, a new insight ready to surface. In the end, you don't have to be a mystic or believe in destiny to appreciate tarot. You just need a bit of curiosity and an open mind. If you've never tried it, shuffle a deck, or use an app, and draw a card or two. Look at the images and ask yourself, what is this saying to me? You might be surprised at the wisdom your own mind reveals through the symbolic prompt. And if nothing else, you'll be gazing at a little work of art that's part of a tradition hundreds of years old. On screen, the hand places the world card on top of a completed spread, the video closes on the world, the final card of the major arcana, symbol of completion, unity, and fulfillment. It's a fitting end to our tarot journey here. From its historical origins to its modern incarnations, the tarot deck truly is a world of its own, reflecting the world around us. The story of tarot is still being written, card by card, reading by reading, and it's one that invites everyone to take part. So if this topic intrigues you, perhaps it's time to pick up a deck and discover the stories and insights waiting for you in the cards. Happy shuffling, and may the cards guide you well on your own journey.